latest census shows people are living longer, and that means a longer retirement. That increased life expectancy paired with a volatile world means protecting your wealth throughout your lifetime has become more difficult than it once was. Sheri MacMillan, founder and CEO of MacMillan Estate Planning, joins us today to discuss what families can do to proactively plan, which is important. Thanks for being here.
Thank you for having me, Jeff.
Let's start with what some of the popular strategies, I guess, would be for families who are currently working to protect their wealth.
Well, many of us are going to live to be 100 today. And so obviously with the world in the format it is today, there's a lot of uncertainty. And so there's fear by many of us of how can I make sure my wealth is preserved for the decades ahead I may need to use it. Specifically right now in a current event, of course, we have Silicon Valley with the banks going insolvent, which is scaring everyone, obviously. So one of the wonderful tools that we often use proactively in estate planning is called a trust. And a trust is a mechanism where we can safeguard the asset base you've built up to use during retirement. And so one of the highlights of it is it doesn't have a cap on the principal guarantee like other types of investment vehicles do, like CDIC insurance, which has a $100,000 cap in Canada, and in the United States $250,000. But in trust law, we don't have a cap. So if you're affluent and you have millions of dollars, this is the right mechanism to make sure that wealth you've created is going to be preserved for, the decades ahead you're going to need to use it.
We have to talk about taxes. How are wealthy families planning for this upcoming tax increase?
Well, we certainly know it's coming and it's only about a month away. And so one of the wonderful tools that we have is something called the maximum tax range. And I call it the giant tax-free savings account for families' estates. And what it does is basically if you have a business, for example, you can relabel your business as a maximum tax range, and so the growth in that business is no longer considered taxable, and when you wealth transfer it one day to your family, you don't pay tax on it neither. It's a tax-free rollover. And so this is a wonderful opportunity that many of us can utilize. The second technique that I recommend all families think about is something called a withering RSP or RIF, because affluent families often think, oh, I've created this sizable RSP or RIF and I'm going to pay the highest rate of tax. It must be that way. But in fact, there's actually a technique where we can pay the lower tier of tax if we design it proactively before you're 71, which is really important because that is going to be your retirement income stream.
Very interesting. I love how you describe that as a big TFSA. A good way to put it there. Thank you so much for your insight, your expertise, your thoughts. Is there anything else you wanted to add?
I think in closing, the other thing I would share with families is those of us in the community that have created an estate worth $1 million or more should be giving consideration to trust planning over will planning, because will planning is very public and it is not a tax plan and you must probate that plan to get it to your loved ones, whereas a trust plan is a tax plan and it can replace the requirement for your will.
Some good information. Sheri MacMillan with MacMillan Estate Planning. Thank you so much again. And we know MacMillan Estate Planning is also offering and hosting a complimentary seminar at the Fairmont Palliser Hotel. That's coming up on Wednesday, March 22nd, 6:30 p.m. All you have to do to register is visit MacMillanestate.com, or you can call that number on your screen, 1-833-266-6464.